USC was one of the most inconsistent teams in 2020. It was a crazy year for a lot of teams, but a crazy year for USC when you look at their games and you just look at how well they played at times and how bad they played at times. It was really puzzling when you looked at this team. They started off, looking like they were going to lose the first couple of games. Arizona State, Arizona. They wind up winning those games. They played well against Utah and then against UCLA. It was a struggle, but they were able to win that game as well. So as bad as they played at times, they were still able to finish the regular season at 4-0. Again, only 4 games, of course. And then you look at the game against Oregon. They lose that game in the Pac-12 championship. So again, for USC, when we're trying to figure out if this team is going to be better or worse in 2021, that's kind of a tough question. I mean, it really is. Which USC team are we talking about? The team that looked really good last year, the team that looked really bad? And again, that makes this a very difficult assessment, I guess you could say. So we start with the quarterback position. Of course, Keaton Slovis will be back. That's the good news there. Stephen Carr, Malapai back at running back, so you get both of those guys. Marquise Stepp, he did transfer out, but they bring in a transfer in Keontae Ingram from Texas, a proven running back with experience, someone that is going to give them a big boost at that running back position. And then at wide receiver, they bring in KD Nixon, transfer wide receiver from Colorado. He is going to help them out there as well because they're going to need some help at wide receiver. You lose your top 2 guys in Tyler Vaughns and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Big losses there, but they've got guys. I mean, this is not a bad wide receiver group at all. When you look at Brew McCoy coming back, Drake London coming back, I think they're going to be in pretty good shape at wide receiver. And offensively, I'm not too concerned about this team. Offensive line, Vera Tucker is gone. That's a big loss there up front, but everyone else is back on the offensive line. So again, if Keaton Slovis can continue to progress, continue to improve, this offense should have no trouble in 2021. They should be able to, again, if they can put it together and be a little bit more consistent, this team should be very explosive once again offensively. But it will be, it'll be a big deal losing St. Brown and Vaughns. You're talking about 2 really, really good wide receivers. So we'll see how that all comes together for them. But I think they're going to be pretty solid on offense. On the defensive side of the ball, you've got some transfers. Connor Murphy transfers out on the defensive line. You lose him as a transfer, and then Marlon Tuputulo, and I'm going to butcher these names. USC has a ton of hard names, and I didn't practice them at all, so I apologize. But they're both going to be gone on the defensive line. He was a really good player, so they're going to miss him. But you got a couple of seniors coming back. Caleb Tremblay, Brandon Peely coming back. Seniors that could have left. Not huge impact players yet, but who knows? Maybe they will be next year. So the defensive line should be pretty solid for them. Nick Figueroa will be back, maybe the best guy coming back on that defensive line as far as returning guys. And then you look at the transfer portal. They bring in Ishmael Sofer from Alabama, defensive tackle. They'll be using him, I'm sure. So again, defensive line should be pretty similar to what it was last year. You go to the linebacker position, Abdul Malik McClain, he is transferring out. Not a huge loss there. Goateo, and again, I'm sorry about the names. He transferred out. This is a pretty talented player there at linebacker. But Jordan Isofa will be back. Big time pickup to add some depth there. He was a senior. And then you have Mwaga coming back. You have Goforth coming back. You have Drake Jackson, maybe the best linebacker on this team, coming back. Hunter Eccles. So they should be pretty solid there at the linebacker position. Again, not an area of concern, really. And then we go to the secondary. Xavier Alford, a safety from Texas, is going to be transferring in. So that'll be a pickup for them there. And, of course, I'm not even going through the 2021 recruiting class. You're going to have all those freshmen coming in as well to help out. But the secondary is probably there. You lose 2 really good receivers. You also lose 2 really good players in the defensive secondary. Elijah Griffin is gone. Cornerback was really strong for them last year. He will be gone. Hufanga, he is also going to be gone. We're talking about an All-American type player at safety. Big losses there. But you look at the cornerbacks, you still got Chris Steele, you still got Isaac Taylor-Stewart, guys that should be ready to step up and become really good players, probably all-conference players. Then you look at the safety position. Pola Mayo will be back. Greg Johnson will be back. So, again, when you just go up and down the roster here for USC, there's not, they don't return a ton of production when we talk about, a percentage, but they do bring back a lot of production. They bring some transfers in that should help them out as well. If you look at where they're ranked in returning production, they're ranked number 67 in returning production, 69th on offense, 73rd on defense. But when you really dig into it and look at what they do have coming back, I'm not too concerned about the production that they lose. And I think this USC team will be pretty good once again in 2021. So better or worse, that's the question here. And again, it's a tough one to figure out. Which USC team are we talking about? It's a team that's just been so inconsistent, and I don't really see any reason why that's going to change. I think this team's going to be about the same. I'm not going to give them an up arrow or a down arrow. I think this is a team that is probably the front runner to win the Pac-12 South. But is it a team ready to make that next step, make that leap into maybe the top 10, into maybe the college football playoff discussion? I don't think so. I think this, again, is a good team. Maybe the second, third best team in the Pac-12, maybe even the best team in the Pac-12. I think they're among the top teams in the Pac-12, just like they were last year. So overall, I think for USC, we're talking about a team that's going to be very similar in 2021.